Credits roll, the house lights come up, and you instantly lean over to your friend to talk about how incredible the ending was. But here is the problem. We use the terms climax and ending as if they mean the exact same thing. That lack of precision makes it difficult to dissect why some blockbusters leave you shaking. Act begins the second Farhan and Raju discover the true identity of Rancho, learning his real name is Funsu Gwangdu, and secure his physical address. Final acts focus on the meticulous setting of the board, establishing the rules and the stakes so that the upcoming climax makes logical sense. Following the line graph into the second stage, we hit the climax. This is the absolute peak of tension, where the main conflict must be resolved. This resolution usually arrives in one of three forms. The first is the action climax. It relies on physical spectacle. When the Avengers travel through time to collect the stones, that is the final act. But the massive all-out war with Thanos and the final snap, that physical release of pressure is the action climax. The second flavor is the suspense climax. Thrillers like Drishyam build their peaks entirely around intellect. Instead of a physical battle, the tension breaks through a massive reveal that changes everything for the characters. Then we have the sad climax. This is an emotional peak built on a character's ultimate sacrifice to save another, as seen in films like Awarapan. Whether the resolution comes through explosions, intellect, or grief, the climax exists to release the maximum pressure built up during the final act. But look at what happens to the tension graph when a director intentionally breaks the established rules of the peak. We get the anticlimax. In an anticlimax, the audience's expectation of triumph is violently replaced by failure, villain success, or sudden tragedy. Season 1 of Game of Thrones remains the ultimate example. The narrative spends hours telling you that Ned Stark is the central protagonist, only to abruptly cut his journey short with an execution. You see the same architecture when the Gotham City seawalls flood in The Batman, or when Spider-Man fails to save Gwen Stacy. The villain actually achieves their goal. The anticlimax functions as a psychological weapon, stripping away viewer comfort to leave them vulnerable heading into the actual ending. Looking at the final stage on our timeline, we reach the actual ending. The tension has broken. This phase is strictly about the aftermath and the character's final fates. How a director handles this aftermath dictates your emotional takeaway. A happy ending works when the emotional triumph is earned, like in 12th Fail. It fails when characters survive without consequences simply because the script requires it, as seen in the later parts of Stranger Things. Then there is the sad ending. This forces the audience to sit with profound, unresolved grief. In Panchat Season 2, Prahlot's devastation isn't a plot point for a sequel, it is a final, heavy emotional state the viewer must process. The shocking ending is more deceptive. Films like Oldboy or Valvi wait until the climax is entirely over to drop a final twist that reframes everything you just watched. Finally, the open ending. The director simply refuses to provide closure. Think of the spinning top in Inception. You are handed the pieces and forced to decide for yourself what was real. The climax provides the adrenaline rush, but the ending acts as the emotional anchor, dictating the specific aftertaste you carry out of the theater. But there is one final anomaly: the cliffhanger. It weaponizes the total absence of an ending to manipulate the audience. When Katappa kills Bahubali, the filmmakers halt the timeline right after the climax. By denying the aftermath, they manufacture an unbearable desire for a sequel. Recognizing the distinct boundaries between the final act, the climax, and the ending allows you to see the actual mechanics behind the way films impact us. So let's put it to the test. Based on the rules we just broke down, what specific type of ending did Bahubali actually use? Drop your answer in the comments.